Is it unusually dark in here, or is that just me? I don't know. This probably won't come across on the actual video because I do color balance and stuff, but I don't know. It seems really dark. Weird. I don't know. Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with Black Clover. Last time around we had the Magic Knight's entrance exam, where basically, yeah, we had Asta and Yuno getting to the capital and entering the exam, which showed off their magical prowess. You can already start to find a problem with this, which is Asta has no magical prowess. And, yeah, he pretty much struggled with all the tests until the very last one, which was combat. There was a dude, what was his name? Seke, I think? And he pegged Asta as a weak target. Really shouldn't put a pause after the he pegged Asta part, but here we are. But yeah, he pegged Asta as an easy target and showed off his really cool magic, which even the Magical Knight Squad captains said was impressive for a newbie. And then Asta just took out his giant sword and just smacked the hell out of him. This is getting more innuendic. That's not a word. That also doesn't help either. So, yeah. Anywho. So yeah, Asta just beat that dude with his giant elongated weapon, and beat the guy that was trying to peg him. We should probably get moving to the reaction before this gets any weirder. Like always, the reaction is down in the description and in the pinned comment for your viewing pleasure. So why don't we just go ahead and jump right into this episode of Black Clover. Here we go. Alrighty, episode 5. So interesting stuff, definitely. Let's just kind of jump right into it, I think. I think one of the biggest things from this episode, I will say, is you have to keep proving yourselves. And I think this is also slightly highlighted by the petite Clover at the end, even though that I'm sure that's, more for jokes than anything actually canon to the show, obviously. But I will say it's like, I like that, even after Asta just one-shots Seke, nobody is actually, changed about him, I mean, they notice. They notice, wow, he's really strong. And the squad captains, what was it, William and Yami, they both obviously notice his physical prowess, that's all he's doing. He's not using magic at all. He's got a ridiculously huge sword, and he's using all of his own physical strength, So that's at least something that he is getting noticed about that. But at the same time, I like that pretty much everyone else around them is like, okay, well, he got lucky, There's nothing about it that actually shows... There's nothing that actually, I don't know, how do I put this? They still need to prove themselves. And then, then the same thing pretty much happens again, Yes, we had Seke who is like, I'll pin you as an easy mark. And the same thing happened to Asta with the guy, was it Salim? That, he basically pinned him as he's from the boonies, he's from the countryside, he's nothing to, a noble like me, and then he just got one-shotted, and it's just and I like that, because it's even though, because he says, Astus does have a lot of magical promise. We've seen that throughout the other 9 trials of the exam, and then we also have the fact that he has the 4-leaf clover book. That is something special, It's not, like you guys have told me, it's not exactly the same as the Wizard Kings, but it's in the same league as the Wizard Kings, So, but even with that, they all kind of look at him and is like, well, but he's still just some country bumpkin, so we'll beat him up. And then he beats them up, So I like that. I like that, and obviously, I mean, I guess it highlights the difference between the squad captains and the common folk, basically. Even if Salim is nobility, he's still just average. He's not good enough to be in these squads, or at least not like like Yuno is. Did I start saying Asta? Dang it! Why do I keep getting their names mixed up? That's so weird. I don't know. That's so weird for me to keep doing, but hopefully I can just like, beat it into my brain and I won't do that anymore. But anyway, is that the reason? I just like came up with a reason in my head because maybe it's because with this show with these characters, I said in the first episode that it reminds me of Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, and in that show the main character is named Yuma and his partner character is named Astral. So I'm wondering if maybe that's what's mixing me up. Is Asta seems more like Yuma, but Yuno seems more like Astral. So I'm like subconsciously, like I watched Zexal like 10 years ago and have watched it every now and again since. So it's like, is that just ingrained in my head? Is that what's messing me up on their names? Because it feels like they should like swap names almost, at least to me. Ugh. Anyway, that's getting too deep into my head. So, but anyway. But it shows, with this episode, it shows the difference between a normal person and a squad captain. The squad captains obviously see the potential in Asta and Yuno, and the ordinary folk, even the nobility though, the normal folk, they don't understand, So I at least like that. And it's like, we still have to prove ourselves. We still have to, it's not, even with Yuno, it's not just that, well, he's super amazing and gifted. He is, but that still means he has a long way to go. I mean, even just when Yami comes down and starts outputting his own magical power, everyone, including Yuno, is just like, ooh, geez, this dude is something. It's like Yuno is clearly a prodigy. But he still has a long way to go, and I like that. Again, it is, it's also very My Hero Academia, where yes, you've got Bakugo, I guess, or Todoroki. And they are ridiculous, and they are really strong. But, there's All Might, there's Endeavor, there's these pro heroes that, at the very beginning of, My Hero Academia, they could not touch at all, So I like that. I like that, I like seeing all of that, But yeah, Yuno has been chosen by, well, he was chosen by everybody. Everybody wanted him, but he specifically chose Golden Dawn, which is under Captain William, who is next in line to be the Wizard King, basically. He's the most likely candidate, they said. So that's interesting. So he's like pretty much there. Like he's already getting in on the ground floor for being the Wizard King. So that's good. Asta, on the other hand, I like that, none of them wanted him, and it makes sense why when they say, nobody knows what your power is, like nobody understands what you're doing, and the main thing is we're seeing magic, we're here to understand people's magic and add that to our squad. So honestly, it's like, we're looking at this like, well, if nobody knows, not even what your actual power is, then nobody wants to deal with that, They would rather take someone like that we all understand, haha. But I like that at least, Yami is willing to take a chance on Asta because, he does have promise. He does have promise, and in the face of Yami's overwhelming magical power, he still stood his ground and said, I will become the Wizard King. And so he's like, okay, that's enough for me to take a chance on you. Just on, your physical prowess and your sword, basically. And honestly, I wonder if that is part of it. That, God damn it. Oh, that's going to drive me crazy now. Asta, he doesn't understand his own magical power. He doesn't understand this. And he's only had this, I think they said it's been about 6 months, but even still, like, you know what I'm willing to bet? Has he actually read his grimoire? I'm willing to bet he hasn't, but I don't know. But that's the thing. It's like, I almost wonder if he's just not actually using the grimoire and the sword in the way that he should be, you know? Like, I would imagine the whole point is that, you know, yes, it is this sort of, what I would imagine is this sort of anti-magic grimoire, you know? Something specifically made to counter other people's magic. And in that way, he can go far with some of it, you know? You know, he used that sword, broke straight through Seke's, you know, magic cannonball, whatever, and yeah, and he got through it, but I bet it's that he's not even actually using it. It would be like if I took this microphone and just hit you with it, you know? Like, that's not the purpose of the microphone, you know? Like, yes, you can use it for that, but obviously the point of the microphone is to record audio, you know? Or if I drove a car and made it into a boat, okay, sure, you can do that, but the car, you know? Or it would be like just having a car in your driveway and just not ever using it, not realizing it can go places, you know? I don't know. My analogy is falling apart, but you know what I mean. It's that that's what I'm willing to bet with Asta, is that he's not actually using the grimoire and the sword the way he should be. But now he can potentially learn with the Black Bulls, the worst regiment, the worst squad of the Magic Knights. So it's like, you know, obviously it's like, okay, so we get the guy that he had a problem with last episode, and, you know, this is the worst, most grueling, terrible, you know, place, and your life is going to be miserable as you train. It's like, that's so anime. That's such an anime thing, but here we are, and honestly, like, this, you know, kind of harking back to My Hero Academia, we talked about how this exam kind of felt like the provisional license exam, kind of felt like Aizawa's first class in, God, what was that, episode 4 of My Hero? Now it's starting to feel like the hero internships and eventually the hero agency stuff after the provisional license exam. And I kind of like that we're kind of fast-tracking that, you know? Like, we're fast-tracking getting these different factions and stuff like that. Like, that's really nice. So, again, you know, this show reminds me of My Hero Academia in probably the best possible ways. It's like if you combined My Hero Academia and Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal into one show, you know? And I know, probably none of you have watched Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal. Sound off in the comments if you have, though, because I'm probably going to be making these comparisons, you know, probably for a couple weeks, and then we'll, you know, in a couple weeks we'll probably be more in just talking about Black Clover, but I don't know, and probably the same goes for My Hero, where we'll be making these comparisons, but eventually I'll probably stop with the comparisons. I don't know, or maybe I won't. I don't know. I kind of hope that I do, because I do want this obviously to be more of its own thing, and obviously I don't want it to go down the same path My Hero did, which, if you don't know, I dropped My Hero Academia after Season 6. I just did not enjoy that season whatsoever. So, and then also, because I told you guys in the first episode that I dropped Jujutsu Kaisen because I just was not enjoying it. But a lot of people said that this show doesn't do the same mistakes that those shows do. So, fingers crossed. But so far, 5 episodes in, and I'm really enjoying it. So yeah, that is pretty much that. With all of that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist with all of my Black Clover reactions, as well as another video you can go click on if you want. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.